नमस्कार, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है टीचिंग लर्निंग इंटरवेंशन फॉर इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम में। आइए इस समावेशी कक्षा के माध्यम से अपनी समझ के दायरे को और विस्तृत करते हैं और जुड़ते हैं आज के विषय से। आप हमें देख रहे हैं eVidya चैनल नंबर 1 से 12 पर। इसके साथ ही आप हमें हमारे ऑफिशियल यूट्यूब चैनल ncertofficial के माध्यम से भी देख रहे हैं। यही स्क्रॉल डाउन करके लाइव चैट बॉक्स का ऑप्शन है, जहां आप अपने प्रश्न भी हमसे पूछ सकते हैं। मैं सृजन राजपूत अपने सभी दर्शकों का स्वागत करती हूं। आप स्क्रीन पर मेरे साथ साइन लैंग्वेज इंटरप्रेटर देख रहे हैं, वे हैं सावरी रोहिला। मैं उनका भी स्वागत करती हूं। हमारे साथ आज की गेस्ट जुड़ी हैं, आप हैं मैम सुभा चंद्रशेखर, फाउंडर एंड डायरेक्टर अनुग्रहम। मैम नमस्कार, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं अपने सभी व्यूअर्स को बता दूं, अनुग्रहम एक ऐसी संस्था है जो टीचर्स और अध्यापकों को इन समावेशी कक्षाओं से और परिचित कराने के लिए और करीब लाने के लिए काम कर रहा है। तो मैम फाउंडर हैं, डायरेक्टर हैं अनुग्रहम में, रिहैबिलिटेशन प्रैक्टिशनर है एंड कंसल्टेंट स्पेशल एजुकेटर भी हैं। मैम के साथ आज हम इस सत्र में आगे बढ़ेंगे और विषय रहेगा हमारा समावेशी कक्षा के लिए एक अंतर विषय दृष्टिकोण, एन इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच टू इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम। आप इस विषय से जुड़ सकते हैं, आप हमें मेल लिख सकते हैं dth.class1-12, आप जिस भी चैनल से हमें देख रहे हो, @ciet.nic.in पर आप हमें कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ये नंबर आपकी स्क्रीन पर भी फ्लैश हो रहा है, 8800440559। तो चलिए आज के विषय को जानते हैं कि किस तरह से समावेशी कक्षा में ही इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम के ज़रिए ही हम अपने और बच्चों को, जो विशेष आवश्यकता वाले बच्चे हैं, उनको साथ लेकर चल सकते हैं। सुबह मैम से आज के विषय पर प्रकाश चाहेंगे। मैम, आई वांट टू नो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय एन इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच। मैम प्लीज़।
Thank you for inviting me, Srijan, and that warm welcome.
Yes,
when I say an interdisciplinary approach to promote inclusion, I mean collaboration between teachers who are teaching different subjects and collaboration between teachers who are teaching different levels, as well as between teachers and students and sometimes even parents.
Yes. Okay, ma'am, again I want to know, is it a time consuming process? क्या ये ऐसा है कि जिसमें बहुत टाइम जो है वो जाता है, टाइम कंज्यूम होता है?
See, when we talk about inclusion or any approaches to inclusion, then it is a journey, it is not a destination. So time consuming की तो बात I will say is not the right way to look at it, but yes, it requires time, it requires planning, it requires effort, and it can start in a small way, and over a period of time it becomes established in the school pedagogy.
As you all know, today we are going to learn or discuss an interdisciplinary approach to inclusive classroom. My next question, or I can say my next topic is, I want to know how is it beneficial for the students, ma'am? मतलब कैसे ये उन बच्चों के लिए जो है काम कर रहा है, लाभदायक है, या फिर टीचर्स के दृष्टिकोण से भी इस पर बात की जाए?
जी. So let me first tell you the key points. When we say an interdisciplinary approach, it is connecting, as I told you, the different concepts across different subjects and different levels. It involves collaboration. Pedagogy needs to be flexible, and it is going to use the principles of universal design for learning. Now, as you all know, universal design for learning is something which is getting promoted by the National Education Policy 2020, and NCF 2023 also talks about having certain things in the class, in the inclusive class, that is applicable to all children. So when we look at any typical class, किसी भी classroom के बारे में जब हम बात करते हैं, तो हम ये देखते हैं कि there are learners with diverse needs. हर बच्चे की नीड अलग है। ऐसे क्लासरूम में करिकुलम को हमें यूनिवर्सल बनाना है। The very word universal means सबके लिए applicable. So when you say इन बच्चों को, I hope you are referring to all children, because the interdisciplinary approach is going to help all children. Indian classrooms have children with diversities in ethnicities, backgrounds, languages, cultures and abilities. And to quote NEP 2020, we need to have experiential learning within each subject and exploration of relations among different subjects. This needs to be encouraged and emphasized at every stage. To give this answer to this thing, I think the interdisciplinary approach is the right answer.
Yes. What a true what a true concept. Means in a very seriously, it's a very easy words to know what is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also want to know, ma'am, how can teachers move towards an interdisciplinary approach while planning lessons?
Sure. So, since you have already asked me how is it going to be beneficial?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I also want to emphasize this, that an interdisciplinary approach between teachers and students is going to help the personal development, social cohesion and economic development of every learner. And this uses the multiple means of representation,
Yes.
multiple means of action and expression and engagement while developing a flexible pedagogy. To help you all understand this approach better, I am going to use a lesson plan.
Okay.
I am going to take a very simple lesson, the solar system, which
Yes.
I think all of us are familiar with. The only thing that today we are going to look at it from an interdisciplinary lens. So, this is class 1 and I
Okay.
have just talked about 2 small activities. Drawing the sun and earth for a
Okay.
child of class
Got it.
1, which involves the art teachers, creating a model. So, there is collaboration between environmental science teachers and visual art teachers, and the terminologies and words that will be used in both the classes will be the same, so that children are able to get a reinforcement. So, these are some of the things that we have found after using this approach in inclusive schools. As you can see, there is a tactile
Yes.
universe created. Then there is a drawing as well. It is similar to the picture that I had used. In the same class 1, we can also have a dance, and then this is interdisciplinary collaboration between the EVS teacher and the dance teacher. So, to just show you an example. So, you can see the children are all enjoying and they are doing the activity at their own pace, just like the planets, which all do not move at the same pace.
Yeah.
But the idea is, when the children are studying EVS solar system in the classroom, they are also learning the dance, the terminology, and this is again yet another example of the topic that we are dealing with today.
Yeah, this is a wonderful video, how the students or the children in the video, they are enjoying. Besides this, they are also learning.
Correct. That's right. Now, let us look at again in class 1, how will we integrate it with English. So, in the school that we implemented this approach,
Yes.
the EVS and English teachers agreed to use the same set of words to reinforce learning. And in class 1, capitalizing the first word of every sentence and proper nouns. So, this is the example given. Mercury is the smallest planet, and the child then capitalizes it. Or the color of Mars is red. So, the child has learned to capitalize the proper noun as well as the beginning of the sentence. The idea is the same concept is getting reinforced in every classroom.
Wow.
Moving on to the next class, class 3. So, they read a lesson on the solar system. They watched an audio visual in both English and in Hindi to understand the names of the seasons caused. And there was collaboration between language teachers and English concept at class 3 level. So, proper nouns, the names of the different planets.
Okay.
The new vocabulary which had to be learned was related to the same topic, planets, satellites, constellation. So, dictation in English class was on these words. So, children learnt both EVS and English,
Together.
and children who have different needs to learn or disabilities.
Yes.
When the same concept is taught in different ways, then for them learning the topic, remembering the topic and generalizing it to different subject becomes a little more easier. So, that is how this is including and extending itself to the inclusive aspect. Adjectives were taught despite being red. Mars is a cold place, so red, cold. Comparisons and pre-math concepts. It's a gas giant, it's bigger, biggest planet.
Yeah.
Mercury is the closest to the sun. Then the ordinal numbers of the math, both English and math. First, second, third, Saturn is the 6th planet. So you see, we can connect between the different subjects beautifully and help children understand. And then finally, writing a short essay on the food and vegetables or the sweets that you eat during the winter season. Because again, the seasons and the festivals, we all have different kinds of food now in winters in the Delhi, you know. Gajak, revdi, which we do not get during a different time of the year. And children can relate to this. So this is how the interdisciplinary approach extends out.
By this small step, how can we connect the subjects? हमने किस तरह से subjects को connect कर दिया, तो क्यों ना inclusive classroom और main classroom को भी हम इसी तरह से connect कर दें मैम?
बिल्कुल, absolutely. So to give you a little more example, I just want to take you to a little higher level. For example, class 5, where again the connection was between English and the environmental science teachers. There are new words to learn like perihelion and aphelion. And the celebration of festivals happened in the school. So here the whole school participated, not just one classroom. So when we say that there is an interdisciplinary approach, we want to emphasize that this is not applicable only in the primary classes. It is possible from primary to secondary to higher secondary classes. In this particular topic, the school held a festival fair, you know, and they collaborated with parents also. And parents brought different food stuff. There were dances presented. Kite festival was held during the fair so that children understand the cultural aspects of the movement of the sun. It's just not, you know, aphelion, perihelion. It is Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, our own culture, what our NCF wants to promote. In South India, it is Pongal. In Assam, it is Bihu. In North India, it is Lodi. But all related to the movement of the sun. So, children then, what they are learning in the school, they are able to connect with what is happening in the at home, the festivals, our different dance forms, and then learning becomes more fun and experiential, as we saw how NEP wanted it to be.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that's true. This approach is definitely work for inclusive education. What do you say?
Yes, because all our classrooms are inclusive, whether we recognize it or not. This is the millennium. This is 2023. We have children. You take any classroom across the globe, more so in India, all classrooms are having diverse learners. We cannot afford to teach them the way we taught in the previous century. We have to have an inclusive approach. An interdisciplinary approach is one such approach.
Ma'am, this is a words for we are going to talk about firstly primary education, but it's really, can this approach be implemented in secondary and higher secondary education system?
Definitely it can be, because curriculum gets more complex as we move up to the classes. It is all the more important that teachers teaching at the middle school, secondary and high secondary levels collaborate. Something like sustainable development is a topic that is taught in science, it is taught in geography. Why can't the teachers collaborate and teach it in a joint way? And as I said, technology also needs to be integrated. So for children who are technology learners, especially at the higher class, they can be asked to create videos, to put pictures. Similarly, this can be done to show the graphs.
Yes. And
so many ways. When we look at our streams at the higher secondary level also, even if you are taking an entrance exam for science, joint entrance exam for medical or engineering, they are supposed to be learning physics, chemistry, mathematics, chemistry, biology. That means there is a lot of connection across these subjects. So it can be implemented at the higher secondary levels also.
For sure, ma'am. Ma'am, this is we talk about that definitely that is implemented can be on possibly on secondary and higher secondary classes too. But what is the role of stakeholders like school leaders, management in implementing this approach?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question to ask. Because an interdisciplinary collaboration requires the participation of many people. Starting from the school leader, the principal, the management, they need to be sensitive about this thing. So the school should have an inclusive vision and mission. Apart from that, there should be administrative practices like while forming the timetable, certain time should be allotted for teachers to collaborate. Even there should be a physical space for teachers to sit and talk and discuss what kind of curriculum can be collaborated and taught in an interdisciplinary way. For all this, administrative practices, physical support and attitudinal support is very much required.
Yes. मैम एक तरह से बात अगर थोड़ी स्टार्टिंग से फिर दोबारा से ली जाए तो टीचर्स का एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है यहाँ इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम में. तो फर्स्टली अगर एक टीचर देखता है कि उसकी क्लास में एक बच्चा है जो कि विजुअली इम्पेयरमेंट डिसेबल है और एक कोहेरिंग प्रॉब्लम है, तो वो कैसे इनिशियली जो है वर्कआउट करें?
फॉर स्कूल्स टू बी इंक्लूसिव दे मस्ट हैव अ स्पेशल एजुकेटर और more than one special educator in their school. All of us know that Supreme Court has made it mandatory for every school to have special educators.
Yes.
Because general education teachers know what to teach and special educators will know how to teach children with disabilities. So collaboration between general education teachers and special education teachers also helps in this interdisciplinary approach. And as I pointed out, they could also have help from the school leadership to develop this kind of a curriculum, a plan, and sit across the different classes, you know, what is being taught in class 1, whether it is applicable in class 2, class 3, across the classes. Technology is a very, very important aspect in obtaining information about learner profiles. You talked about children with visual impairment or other disabilities. What about children who do not have disabilities but would like to learn through technology?
Yes.
Our children are millennials. They learn faster through digital way. Or what about children who like to learn in a group? So this kind of information can be obtained using Google Forms or technology. When one teacher plans such a curriculum, technology can be used to spread the word amongst different teachers. So that way there could be digital collection of curriculum which has used interdisciplinary approach, and this is how we can promote differentiated assessment as well.
Yeah, ma'am, as your third point says, is using technology essential for implementing an interdisciplinary approach?
I would not say essential. It would definitely be more beneficial.
Yeah.
This is the world of technology, era of technology, you know. And we know that our children thrive on it. So why not use it to promote learning?
Yes, ma'am. And we have a time left. So I also want to know, ma'am, an interdisciplinary approach to inclusive education. What other stakeholders can they cite?
Yeah, so there can be other experts walking into the schools. There could be visits to museums or certain sites which can be planned, which will follow the universal design which is being promoted in our NEP and NCF. Parents are a wonderful resource, siblings, children who have passed out from the school, alumni, all of these can be very good resources in an interdisciplinary approach.
Yes, definitely, for sure, ma'am. Ma'am, if we have so much words to know about the conclusion of the topic for today, what can we take it as?
The first word that I would say would be collaboration. Then I would say engagement, which leads to engagement of students also in learning. And then my final word for this will be inclusive education.
Okay, we have three words. One is collaboration and another one is engagement and third one is inclusion. Okay, so we have a topic for today is an interdisciplinary approach to inclusive classroom, and we have so many words to get from मैम सुभा मैम। उन्होंने हमें बताया कि किस तरह से हम समावेशी कक्षा के जरिए बच्चों के लिए एक ऐसी क्लासरूम का एक ऐसा दायरा, एक ऐसी कॉन्सेप्ट को डेवलप कर सकते हैं जो वाकई ही उन बच्चों को जो है ना अपने और स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, अपने और फेलोज के साथ जो है कनेक्ट करता है। तो इस विषय पर मैम से थोड़ा सा और जानना चाहेंगे मैम कि किस तरह से जो फेलोज हैं या फिर जो उनके पीयर्स हैं, उन बच्चों के स्पेशल बच्चों के पीयर्स हैं, वो कैसे वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं अपने स्पेशल फ्रेंड्स के लिए।
Yes, thank you for bringing up the peer involvement in interdisciplinary as well as inclusive education, because the role of peers is very, very important. Children, why only children? All of us learn from the same age group. We like to role model people who are similar to us in age, and it is very much true. Research and evidence-based strategies have shown us that peer tutoring and peer learning is very effective for teaching children with disabilities.
Yes, ma'am.
And to conclude about this topic, I would like to say that teachers should start using interdisciplinary approach in small ways.
Yes.
It is not possible to introduce this concept across the school in all the classes, across all the subjects. Whenever we want to start anything new, we should start it in a small incremental way. Start something that you can manage, that you can be successful at. That can lead to something bigger and bigger. And as I said in the beginning, it's a journey, it's not a destination.
Yeah.
So over a period of time, we will see that an interdisciplinary approach would have become the way of teaching.
जी, समावेशी कक्षा के लिए कैसे अंतर विषय दृष्टिकोण काम करता है, इस बारे में हम आज बात कर रहे हैं हमारे इस स्पेशल सेगमेंट में, स्पेशल सेशन में। आप क्लास 1 to 4 जो हमारे eVidya के चैनल्स है 1 to 12 आप हमें वहाँ देख रहे हैं, और NCERT ऑफिशियल के माध्यम से भी आप हमें देख रहे हैं। जहाँ आपकी प्रशंसा हमें दिखाई दे रही है, और सुबह मैम से जुड़कर हमारे व्यूअर्स को बहुत अच्छा भी लगा मैम, क्योंकि आज के लिए हमारे साथ बहुत से व्यूअर्स जुड़े हुए हैं, टीचर्स हैं, वहीं कुछ ऐसे मैनेजमेंट के लोग भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं जो कि इस दिशा में काम कर रहे हैं। आप सबसे क्या एक पॉजिटिव नोट देकर हमारे आज के सत्र को जो है एंड करना चाहेंगी?
Yes. All children can learn, study and be successful at life. लेकिन वो सक्सेस का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो हर बच्चे के लिए अलग रूप धारण करता है। सक्सेस को हमें किसी भी एक दायरे में फिट नहीं करना चाहिए। एक इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच या फिर UDL बताइए, जो भी हम लेते हैं ये एक सिर्फ जरिया है बच्चों को कामयाब होने के लिए। सो आई अर्ज ऑल टीचर्स टू यूज न्यू वेज ऑफ ensuring that all classrooms are inclusive and all children succeed.
या फॉर मोर आप इस सेगमेंट को ज़रूर देखें जो हमारा प्रतिदिन जो है सोमवार से लेकर शनिवार तक 12 से 12:30 तक आपके समक्ष आता है इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम, जिसके ज़रिए हम कुछ ऐसी टेक्निक्स भी बताते हैं टीचर्स के नज़रिए से भी और बच्चों के नज़रिए से भी, जहां आप कुछ नया सीखते हैं। तो हमारी इस सत्र का भी, हमारे इस खास सत्र का भी कहीं ना कहीं मोटिव और ध्येय यही है कि हम आप तक ऐसी टेक्निक्स और ऐसे विषय पहुँचाते रहें जहाँ से हमारे खास बच्चों की खास सभी ज़रूरतें पूरी हो सके। तो हमारे आज के सत्र के लिए मैं बहुत बधाई देते हुए इस सत्र के लिए मैम आपका धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी।
धन्यवाद।
सुभा मैम का परिचय एक बार आप सबके लिए दोबारा देती हूँ। सुभा चंद्रशेखर मैम हमारे साथ जुड़ी, आप फाउंडर हैं, डायरेक्टर हैं अनुग्रहम से, और इस संस्था के बारे में जिक्र करते हुए मैम ने बताया कि टीचर्स को सिखाने की दिशा में हम काम कर रहे हैं, और संस्थापक निदेशक हैं मैम अनुग्रहम की, और उनसे बात करके हमने जाना कि किस तरह से एक स्वरूप में, एक ऐसे स्वरूप में जो सबको कनेक्ट करके चल रहा है, वहाँ समावेशी कक्षा के जरिए आप सभी हमसे जुड़ सकते हैं। तो आप सभी यूं ही जुड़े रहिएगा, क्योंकि हमारे NCERT के सभी सत्र इसी तरह आपके लिए ज्ञान के साथ साथ कुछ नया खोज कर लाते हैं। CIET NCERT के क्लास 1 to 12 के सभी चैनल्स वर्क कर रहे हैं, और इसी के साथ NCERT का ऑफिशियल YouTube चैनल, जिसका थोड़ी देर में लिंक क्रिएट होगा, और आप इसका लिंक अपने उन्हीं स्टूडेंट्स के साथ, टीचर्स के साथ और सभी के साथ ज़रूर शेयर कीजिएगा जहां इसकी बहुत ज़रूरत है। एक्सप्लोर करते रहिए NCERT ऑफिशियल। हम आपसे 2 बजे अपने लाइव सत्रों के साथ जुड़ेंगे। 2 बजे हमारा एक लाइव सत्र फिर आपके साथ होगा, जहां टॉपिक रहेगा सोशल साइंस में पीपल एंड प्रिंटिंग पार्ट 1। तो डेफिनेटली ये एक अपने आप में इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक रहेगा। सो आई अप्रोच टू डेफिनेटली connect with us through eVidya channel number 1 to 12, and beside this NCERT official. I also want to thank our sign language interpreter Savri Rohila. Thank you so much. आप सभी व्यूअर्स का भी धन्यवाद कि आप इस तरह हमसे कनेक्ट होते हैं और अपने प्रश्नों के जरिए हमारे जो प्रोग्राम है उनकी सार्थकता को और बढ़ाते हैं। एक और ज़रूरी सूचना मैं आपको देना चाहूँगी आपकी पाठ्य पुस्तकों से संबंधित। आप अपनी शैक्षणिक स्तर की किताबें हमारे सभी सेल्स काउंटर से मंगवा सकते हैं जो अक्रॉस द कंट्री काम कर रही हैं। आप वहां से डायरेक्ट भी जाकर अपनी बुक्स ले सकते हैं या फिर ऑनलाइन मीडियम से भी घर बैठे बैठे अपनी किताबें मंगवा सकते हैं। ये सेल्स काउंटर नई दिल्ली, कोलकाता, अहमदाबाद, गुवाहाटी और बेंगलुरु में है। यहाँ से संपर्क करने के लिए आपको विजिट करना होगा ncertbooks.ncert.gov.in पर। आप बुक्स की सॉफ्ट कॉपी या PDF वर्जन डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं अपने मोबाइल लैपटॉप में। इसके लिए पाठशाला, दीक्षा, NCERT मोबाइल ऐप्स को झटपट डाउनलोड करें। आप चाहें तो सुबह 9:30 से लेकर शाम 6 बजे तक अवकाश के दिनों में भी हमारे सेल्स काउंटर से संपर्क कर सकते हैं। अधिक जानकारी के लिए आपसे अनुरोध है कि आप ज़रूर विजिट करें हमारी ऑफिशियल साइट, जहां पर हम आपको सभी सत्रों से जुड़ी हमारी जितनी भी श्रृंखलाएं होती हैं उनसे भी जुड़ी जानकारी आपको समय समय पर उपलब्ध करवाते रहते हैं, और कुछ ऐसे कार्यक्रम जिनके ज़रिए आपका जुड़ना बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाता है वे भी आपके समक्ष आती हैं। इसके लिए आपको विजिट करना होगा www.ncert.nic.in पर। आपका दिन शुभ हो। इस विनती के साथ और इस निवेदन के साथ मैं आपसे लेती हूँ अनुमति। मैं सृजन राजपूत हूँ और नमस्कार।